I was trying to make a point earlier, and you kind of went around it. It's not even necessary, but maybe we can talk about it just for the sake to make this a little longer of a podcast.
No, go for it.
Um, but yeah, is it fair to hold filmmakers to their filmography? Is the auteur theory still relevant? Should that even exist? Because yeah, this guy made Almost Famous and Say Anything, and he wrote Fast Times at Ridgemont High, and he used to be a reporter for Rolling Stone. But then he has Vanilla Sky, and he has Elizabethtown, and he has I haven't seen Singles, but it, like we did San Andreas 2 nights ago. We didn't mention Brad Payton's filmography at all, and
Well,
he
he's
did
still.
Journey 2 and a couple other things.
Here's a couple. I mean, he's still. I don't know. I haven't seen Journey 2, and I don't think I'm gonna. But I mean, I don't think he
The first one
has.
was fun.
I don't think he has a distinctive style, and that's something that Cameron Crowe has. You watch Jerry Maguire or Almost Famous, you can tell that they're
You
at
can
least
kinda
written
guess
by
it's
the
the
same
same
guy.
guy.
They're
Yeah.
very different scenes, but you can at least see the threads in there that do connect. And even in Aloha, you can see them because it is still unique enough to be able to catch on to that. But I mean, what is your question exactly? Just
Should the auteur theory, or not theory, but because it's passive theory now, it's you see a trailer, a film by or directed by, or even worse, from the people that brought you. Especially if it's one producer you don't know the name of, but you're told that they produced this one film that you might have liked. It, like, are we, not we, but is Hollywood taking the audience for granted?
no, no, no,
Is it
not at all.
fair to expect it? Because it's one thing or it's actually the same thing. Like when a band releases an album or a hit song, audience kind of expects them to have that same kind of sound, or like the director's supposed to have the same kind of vision, or the writer's supposed to have the same voice. And definitely for someone who's a writer director, like Cameron Crowe or Alexander Payne or Kevin Smith, even, you can definitely tell. Um, but to what extent? Like, when do you cross that line? Like, Roland Emmerich doesn't write his stuff, but all of his stuff is tied through disaster. Or you got David Fincher. You don't really know how his stuff's connected. It's just it's dark.
Well, I mean, everyone. I think you look at David Fincher. He's known for doing dark, gritty detective movies or crime movies,
And
and then every
800
once in a
takes.
while he tries to do something different, like Benjamin Button, Kevin Smith. Just comedies with great dialogue. Then he goes out of his way to do something completely different and
Tusk.
far more visceral, like Red State, or just something way more batshit crazy, like Tusk. I don't know. I guess with Cameron Crowe, maybe that's kind of it here. It's still rom com. No. Vanilla Sky is probably a better comparison because that one's
Well, that's a
way, way,
remake
way
though.
different.
There's a remake of a Spanish film. I can't remember the name of the original, but Penelope Cruz plays the same character.
I mean, I guess it's is
But yeah, that
so
film's
is it
fucking off the. It, I don't even know how to explain that
well,
film. I
what's
don't
your
even want to
question though?
try.
Like, is it fair to hold directors up to a certain standard? Like
Yeah,
they
like
have to
should
do
we?
something?
Yeah, should we banish the auteur theory, or like try to, or discredit the system for making it a thing?
Well, not
'Cause you,
it. I every viewer is gonna have a subjective experience with Christopher Nolan or David Fincher. I
hmm
mean, you're gonna relate to their work in a certain way. So when they put out something
exactly.
new and it seems similar to what they already do, then you're kind of hoping that you can connect with it like the other stuff.
Yeah.
And it all does come down to expectations. Whether it's gonna work for you later on. That's you know that's just you see the movie and you have your reaction to it, and that's it.
Yeah. I just
I
I
don't.
wish it was more of that than what it is.
I mean, I don't think it's. I mean, as far as just whether it's fair to hold them up to a certain standard, there's nothing. I mean, there's nothing wrong with Hollywood, promoting a director's name or a writer's name in a trailer because, we do connect with someone's particular body of work, and that does lead us to having a certain expectation, or at the very
hmm
least, we may not expect it to be as great, but it does spark a little bit of curiosity of, oh, you might see a trailer of something that you at first have no interest in completely, but then you find out that it's written by someone whose work you admire a little bit, or shot by someone whose work you love, or scored by somebody. Like And this doesn't, it doesn't apply to just writers or directors. It,
Yeah,
it
it's
could be
anyone in the
production
industry.
designers. Yeah, I mean, everyone's got their own distinct thing, and it's
It's like in the case of Wes Anderson, it's kind of 3 in 1. It's the writer
yeah,
director, the way it looks, it's the production design,
yeah,
it's
and no one
costumes,
can
it's
do
the
Wes
music.
Anderson like Wes Anderson.
Yeah, exactly.
So
And I mean, that's what I'm saying. There, for every Wes Anderson, there's some guy you don't know the name of. That's the directed by the guy that brought you this. And I can't remember who came up with this because I mean, you took the film theory class, like you know what I'm talking about.
hmm
The people that threw out the concept of the auteur, wasn't it? I'm pretty sure it was Cahiers du Cinema.
yeah,
It was like 1954 or something like that. Yeah, these Frenchies, the film directors, they're like auteurs and auteur, and it's one of those things where it's become like a law, where it's like evolution. It's not theory, it's a law basically for a lot of people, and that's how it is in entertainment. And so I think this is a case. I think this film is that case where if this was some random, because you feel that you still think it's a bad movie, and
I don't
I'm
I don't
okay with
think
that.
it's a good movie. I think it's a failure, but I think it's an interesting one.
Yeah, well,
I don't think it was a total waste of time though. Like
yeah,
bad, because I mean, to me, bad is when it's a
you're
movie
looking
that
at your
just,
watch and you want to leave,
or it's just a
and
movie that really doesn't give a shit about its audience. Like that, to me, that's a bad movie. Aloha, at least they're trying to do something different. I can see that there's effort being put in there. And even though I'm not connecting with it in any way at all, I can at least try to see what they're going for, and I can at least admire the effort being put in there. So I don't walk out feeling that my time's being completely wasted.
yeah. I almost felt that way with San Andreas. I almost felt like my time was wasted.
I mean, yeah, no, with the San Andreas, it kind of felt like this does go back to the whole practical and CGI thing, but it felt like it was too easy. But there is a lot of hard work being put into the effects of that
Oh,
specifically. It
definitely.
just
People working
doesn't
their
click
ass
with
off.
me. Yeah.
This is my. It's not even an argument, but this is like my closing thought. Aloha has this horrible ratings, making no money. It's a flop. It's a failure. It's this and that. Not only did I like it more, but I had a better time watching it than San Andreas. But everyone in the world, every critic is going to say that's the greater film, and that might be because who knows why. Just because it's a genre flick, or you don't know who the director is, or The Rock is looking good in shirts 2 sizes too small. I don't know, but it's weird. Like, imagine if Aloha opened, 2 weeks ago when it was up against nothing. Well, it was up against Pitch Perfect, Mad Max, so it still would have done badly. But I don't know. It's
Well, I think here's the thing: is that I haven't put my rating up on Letterboxd yet, but
I'm guessing it's
and
gonna be like a 1.5 or 2.
no, it's going to be 2. But San Andreas is going to be half a star better than that, and that's not exactly. I did come out liking Aloha a little bit better. I would rather rewatch that because I
Mm-hmm.
do think there's more I could get out of that just by trying to figure out what they're going there. San Andreas, it's not like it's any better or any worse. It's just it's trying to be a simple disaster movie, and for the most part,
It's too simple.
yeah, but it does at least succeed in what it's doing. It's just not as
Definitely.
ambitious or trying too hard. But I do think the conversation around Aloha is going to be a lot more interesting for those that want to have it.
I hope
And
there
you can
is
see
one.
you can see why something like San Andreas would do better because it's
It's
just it's
popcorn
very
fare.
simple. It's okay, the ground shakes and buildings falling down and that's it. Aloha, it's they try to make it seem like a simple romantic comedy, and I don't know why. I don't know why it didn't do well. Maybe it's just a bad release timing, or maybe just word of mouth really isn't good on there. But I did think it had some appeal, commercially at least.
I think if they released it Memorial Day weekend, that would have worked better, especially with the military plot going on.
Yeah.
But who knows? I'm obviously the odd man out on this. I was blindsided by the romance. But
Oh
yeah,
man,
that
you can be taken in by your romances, and I'll be easily swayed by spectacle.